Welcome to Hate to Wait, where two lifelong dieters talk about their current struggles with weight loss. Diets, we've tried them all. We are not doctors, we don't play them on TV or on this podcast. Join our journey because misery loves company.
Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, John. How are you?
Have a bad day, have a bad back. You know, and again, there's no rhyme nor reason for it. It's just like one day you wake up, maybe you move or you slept wrong and it's tweaked and I can't walk, or I walk like the letter, like a question mark. I'm all twisted. So I have that going on right now. So I'm already a little salty because I'm a big baby when I have, either I'm sick or I'm in pain.
No, absolutely. I don't think that makes you a big baby, especially with your back, where your back just affects every other part of you.
Yeah, I mean, I have bad knees and a bad back, and I'd rather have knee pain instead of back pain. Yeah, it's horrible. It affects everything. You can't turn. Everything you move, you're like, you can't get comfortable. It's terrible. But I do have a heating pad that I'm going to try. And then what else do I have that TENS unit. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yeah.
They're
you
pretty
talked
neat.
about that.
You put them little pads on, and you turn it and you juice it up, and then it usually kind of loosens things up. So I will try that a little bit later. So I did crawl down here.
Oh.
Got into the chair and got everything set up. So that's good. And I have to record tonight too. So hopefully things will loosen up. But it's just when you wake up in the morning and you're trying to move around, and it's just everything takes longer and everything is just painful, and you hate life when this goes on.
Yeah.
So how was your week?
My week was very uneventful. Actually, this is interesting, and this makes a lot of sense for our show. On Monday, I'll be honest, I was down and I was really excited. And yesterday we were doing errands, and we were kind of running around, and my husband was like, I'm sorry, I really want Taco Bell. And it was an hour or two after my window had opened. And I was like, okay, I haven't had Taco Bell in so long. Let me make a good choice in Taco Bell. And then I saw their naked chicken chalupa, and I didn't quite know what it was, but I saw the avocado ranch, and I was like, that's kind of all I want, is whatever you're drizzling avocado ranch on. And I got it. Turns out it's a giant taco stuffed inside a chicken patty that's made to look like a taco.
Mm-hmm. And
I ate that, and I was like, it's just sitting like a brick in my stomach. And it came with a Doritos taco, which I ate. And it also came with a plain taco, which ever since Taco Bell invented the Doritos tacos, I don't even know why they sell plain tacos anymore.
Yeah, it is kind of a waste of time, isn't it?
It is. And the taco shells are stale. Every time I have one, I'm like, this is awful. How did I used to eat just regular tacos?
Yeah, I did go, when was it? Oh, it was it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday night after my Eagles won. I was heading home and I was hungry. It was outside of my window, to be quite honest with you. And I just zipped in there real quick because I was hungry, and I grabbed they have two new burritos. I forget what they're called. And anyhow, one of them was a chicken enchilada one, and the other one was a 3 cheese. And when I got done, I was very unsatisfied. I didn't feel, it just didn't feel good. I felt crappy when I came home. Like I had to drink a lot of water to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So maybe I've lost that Taco Bell love and feeling.
That I'm going to start singing. Yeah. So for those who don't know, we're talking about our windows. Both of us do intermittent fasting. Do you do 6 hours, John, or 8 hours?
I do 6.
You do 6.
Yes.
Okay. Because I go back and forth between 8 hours and 6 hours. It depends on the day, and it depends on what's going on. For the most part, I stick to 6 hours. If there's something at night, though, like an event, I'll open it up a little bit later and keep it open for 8 hours as opposed to 6. So with intermittent fasting, what we do is we fast for either 16 or 18 hours and then of the day. And then for the other 6 or 8 of the 24 hours is when we can eat. And we can eat all we want. John is doing keto, so he's very specific about what he eats sometimes. And just wanted to catch everyone up because we have a lot of new listeners from last week.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. So hello, all new listeners. Thank you for listening to our second episode of 2019.
The thing for me with the keto diet is it's all in preparation.
Mhm.
Because if I don't plan and prepare, then I go off track. And I should practice what I preach, because I say you can't dabble, and you really can't. You really can't dabble in keto. Either if you try, you will gain weight. But one of the things this morning when I woke up, and I'm going to tell you right now, everybody, John's a little salty today.
Why else is John a little salty? Not
John's-
just the Taco Bell
John's
and
a little,
the Eagles.
Yeah, he's a little grumpy. And I saw an article on Facebook, and it was about Jillian Michaels. And she says, well, I don't like the keto diet. Now, it's a post from the Today Show on Facebook. And if you go into the comments, when I last looked, there were 718 comments in there. And it was a bunch of them like, I lost 135 pounds. I lost 75 pounds. I did this. I feel great. My blood work is fantastic. So I think, to be quite honest with you, and this is just me, Knucklehead John, doing something that just watching what's going on here. I also know somebody who's a friend of a friend, and she was doing the keto diet, and she went to the doctors, and her cholesterol was up, and her blood sugar was up, and the doctor said, listen, you need to go to a low-fat diet. So will this work for everybody? No. But also my friend, the friend of a friend, is not, just has maybe a couple pounds to lose. She's not really overweight, and maybe that's the issue. So maybe if you have 100 pounds or 200 pounds or 75 or 80 pounds to lose, maybe this diet works for you better than if you're just trying to get off that last 15 so you look good in your bikini. Now, I'm not telling people that they shouldn't I'm not making fun of people that are trying to lose the last 15 pounds so they can look good in their bikini. What I'm just saying is that those of us who have a lot of weight to lose, have a different makeup. And the reason that we do this is because we want to turn our body from a carb burning machine to a fat burning machine, because that just makes sense.
Yeah.
And I would say any diet like this, you need to go to your doctor. You need to go to your doctor.
And you need to have things checked. You can't just start a diet and not check it along the way to
Right.
make sure you're going an adequate number of times. How often, see, this is how bad I am. I don't take my own advice. I am afraid of my doctor. How often are you supposed to go to the doctor? Once a year, just for an annual checkup?
Yeah, yes. But I would say that if you're going to do something like this, if you're going through weight loss, I would say you should go 4 times a year and just have your blood checked. Or, again, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on this podcast.
Yes. Oh, thank goodness we have a disclaimer at the beginning. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a burr in my saddle about Jillian Michaels anyhow, because she used to be in the show The Biggest Loser.
And she has a lot of weight loss products too that
Right.
don't necessarily go along with the keto diet, I can assume.
Well, maybe. That might be it too. Who knows? So you say, well, why don't you like the diet? And then she's like, well, when you cut one thing out, then your body's out of balance. All right. So I understand that. It might work with what you're talking about. But this is a woman that used to go on the show and take somebody on the first day that they came in there, morbidly obese, and make them exercise until they vomited. And I'm like, is that really the right way to do that? I also hear from others, and I knew somebody that was on the show. I did a podcast about The Biggest Loser, their last season for that TV talk network. And she took 4th place. I think it was in 2009 on The Biggest Loser. She took 4th place, and she's still struggling with her weight. And I just think that it's what they do through that. And this is just John's opinion. This is John's soapbox. The show was about fat shaming, and, they're lazy, and this is why we're going to exercise them. We're going to exercise until they throw up. And now that show's over. And if you go back to the people that there's articles been done since then on people that were on the show, most of them have gained all the way back and then some.
Yeah.
So I just think everything that's extreme is really, it's not going to last. In other words, if you're trying to lose 200 pounds in a year, or let's just go crazy. Let's say you're trying to lose 100 pounds in a year. we've talked about it last week, how it's very doable, but you're not going to lose 100 pounds in 6 months or 5 months or anything. It's just, it can't come off that fast. There's nothing out there that will make that happen besides bariatric surgery under doctor's care, something like that. And everything I'm saying here, I'm not poo-pooing anything. I'm not poo-pooing surgery. Whatever you need, whatever you want to do to make this happen, I say do it. I've seen people have fantastic success with weight loss surgery. I've seen people have fantastic success on the keto diet. It's hard to follow because you have to cook all the time. You have to pay attention all the time. You can't just go out to a restaurant. Everybody likes cinnamon buns. You gotta, it is hard you have cravings. It's hard to follow, but if you do follow it, I do feel the science, if you go over the science and you look at the science, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So again, I just don't like when someone says, and it's the headlines. We are lazy as a society.
Oh, we read the headlines, and sometimes we don't even read the headlines. We read the preview headlines, which are even more enticing for us to click, but we don't click because we think, oh, we read that Jillian Michaels slams keto diet. They don't use the word poo-poos or puts down. She slams it. She is so adamantly against it. And then I read the article, and it didn't sound like she was angry. She just said, this isn't sustainable.
Okay.
But she slammed it.
Yeah. And then you hear people say, well, I read an article where Jillian Michaels says that she doesn't like the keto diet. I said, did you read the article or did you read the title?
Yeah.
Because I read the article.
Yeah. There was an article once that was, I'm turning anti-vax, and I reposted it because the title itself was in order to make people get mad and talk in the comments. But in fact, vac in that situation stood for vacuum. I'm anti-vacuum. I don't like vacuuming. And people still got mad because all they did was read the title. I'm changing my stance to anti-vax.
And then they thought that meant anti-vaccination.
Yep.
And then they all go off on a tangent.
I'm going to do what I hate podcasters do is clap while I'm talking is people read the whole article.
But we're lazy. We just go, we scroll. We're a bunch of scrollers.
Yeah.
And then we say, oh, he's an anti-vax. He doesn't like vaccination. And actually what he doesn't like is vacuuming. And who likes vacuuming? It's noisy. You always pick up something that sounds like it's going to go through the vacuum.
I break the vacuum at least a third of the time, and it's not really broken. It's just, I have to empty out the thing and put a new one in. And I make my husband do it because I'm like, I can't. I don't know how. He's like, you press a button. I'm like, I don't know how. Right. It's too hard. It's too hard.
I don't want to.
I don't want to.
Sam was over here this week and she was vacuuming and she made the fatal mistake of you taking the vacuum and going under the bed. And I don't know what she hit. But
did you hear all the clicks?
It locked
I'm just like, click, 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 click. Everything just sucked up into it. You're like, oh God, what could that have been?
And she's like, I smell smoke. So then I had to come and unplug. I can't remember what it was, but then it was fine after that. But again, people, do the research. When you read something, read all of it. Don't read just one person's opinion. And again, we're not here to tell you what to do because some people are doing different types of weight loss programs. Some people have had the surgery. Some people are incorporating exercise. I don't know. I don't like that clickbaity thing that people, I guess, websites do to drive traffic to it with these titles because that's all people read. And then they might, like you said, they might read maybe the first paragraph and then they're off. And now they're touting the same thing.
Yeah. And it's tough. And now I'm looking at the website itself to see if it's sponsoring anything. Okay. One of the recommended sponsored stories, this actress shares a new weight loss picture. This is the actress from Precious. And let's see if they're touting a diet. These celebrities, it turned into these celebrities lost so much weight. See who did it naturally and who went under the knife. It's like this is the worst thing for people to read in the beginning of the year when right now so many people are looking for the diet for them to start because it's January and they're like, I gotta get in shape. I have to, this is me every January too, is I have to get more in shape The diets I've already tried haven't worked. What haven't I tried? We're looking for the new thing. That's kind of how I have to keep with intermittent fasting, is throw something else in every week, is adding just a tiny thing to it and being like, okay, this week I'm going to get my steps in. This week I'm going to focus on water. This week I'm going to focus on getting more sleep. And that's the only way to make it interesting, is just adding a new thing. I actually read in the book, Girl, Wash Your Face, which is just probably my favorite book of 2018. It's easier to add a habit than it is to quit something. Adding a habit every single day is easier to add one than it is to quit.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you're looking at your diet and saying, I'm going to quit eating sugar, I'm going to quit eating flour, I'm going to quit eating processed carbs, that's really hard. It's much easier to say, you know what, I'm going to get one more, and just a tiny step, not like adding, okay, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to exercise for 2 hours and I'm going to start a diet and da 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 da. It's easier to add something like, you know what, this week I'm going to add an extra glass of water. This week I'm going to make sure I get vegetables at least once a day. Just a tiny habit. So much easier to add, just a little bit at a time. And what's funny is, now that I'm thinking about it, the cleaning book that I was on, that I loved about 5 or 6 months ago, that was how they taught me to clean, was you just put in a new habit every day. Every single day I have a 5-minute cleanup. I just set a timer for 5 minutes. I clean up, and it's amazing what you can get done in 5 minutes, where it doesn't even seem like that much. It's a tiny bit of your time. And it's like, even at the end of the day, when I'm ready to go to bed, I'm like, I can still do this for 5 minutes. And boom, my living room is clean. That's all I want.
Yeah, when Sam was here, we cooked breakfast. And it wasn't really that hard. And I did my famous egg scramble. So the night before, we had kibasi and those things that are like raviolis, but they're potatoes in them. What are they called? Oh my goodness!
I know what you're talking about too.
See, I did it to you. Everybody's yelling at their podcast.
I know. I want to say blintzes.
Pierogies.
Pierogies. Oh,
there we go. So we had pierogi, sauerkraut, and kibasi. Well, the next morning I just diced some of it up. I cooked that up when I put eggs and onions and then mixed it all together and put cheese over the top of it. And it was fantastic. And it didn't take that long, and it was good. And so to add a habit for me would be to make sure that I eat a keto breakfast, which is not very hard to do. And I have everything here. The habit would be to make sure that I have enough keto-friendly foods in here that's a habit I could start, to make sure that it's here. Because it's not here, then I'm going off the rails.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
And it's also been proven that theory about it takes how long? 3 weeks to make a habit? 21 days? No, that's absolute phooey.
It takes longer?
It not only takes longer, they can't measure how long it takes, because humans are naturally programmed to rebel against structure.
That's true.
We're just like, let's see how far I can take this. Let's see how much I can toe the line. Like me with Taco Bell yesterday. That was exactly my thought process. Well, I've done so well. Let's see how much this affects me. It affected me. I will have you know.
Yeah. It made me say, you know what? I don't want to come back here again. It didn't taste good. It wasn't what I remembered. I don't know. For me, I think that I like the idea of adding habits. I also like the idea of measurements. Dave Jackson, who's a member of this group, he made up a chart. It was on Excel, and it was a bar chart where he wanted to go, and then he would weigh himself and say where he is and see if he's on a gradual decline. And I thought that's a really good idea.
Yeah, and he does the Logical Weight Loss Show. So if you're looking for another weight loss podcast, definitely go check him out. And the link will be in our show notes at hatetoweight.com.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of our show, I talked to Harriet, who I talked about last week. She was my eating coach. Yep. She is very interested in coming on the show and talking to us. So
when's
that? I don't know. I'll figure it out. I was bad. I dropped the ball like yesterday of DMing her back, but
okay.
Because with Facebook messages, as soon as I read it, the nice thing with email, I can unread it. You can't do that with Facebook messages, but I need that unread. Mark is unread.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, so that it bothers me again.
Okay. Well, that would be great. I would love to be able to talk to her, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, I need an eating coach. I need structure in my life. I can't be left to my own devices. I run amok. I do. It's like nobody looks. Nobody's looking. Who knows? Hey, what do you say we get into some Winning Wednesdays?
Yeah, because we have a lot, actually.
Yes,
so
we
many.
do.
So proud of people. Tracy says she's somehow down another pound despite not actually doing anything to make that happen. So that's awesome. And I bet you were, if you tracked everything and you looked exactly what you ate that day, but tracking sucks sometimes. I know, and I used to track in MyFitnessPal every single thing I ate. And I stopped because I realized just how much time I was taking to do it. And then I would start eating the same things over and over again because it was already pre-programmed into MyFitnessPal. And
Yeah,
I
you
was
can just move it over.
I'm like, I don't want this sandwich again, but I don't feel like making a different sandwich and putting in the bread and the meat and the cheese and the condiment. Like, no, I'll just make another turkey and cheese sandwich. I'm so sick of it.
Exactly. Sarah says, I bought my gallon jug and I've been getting one a day in.
Oh, we must have doot.
Oh, see?
I threw us off today, actually. I was late.
Stop blaming yourself for everything. So this thing is, I'm looking at the picture of it, and it's a gallon jug, and it's got a strap on it, and it says, okay, 9 a.m., you've got this. 11 a.m., remember your goal. 1 p.m., and it's like lines on this thing, so and it's like 12.
So it goes down. Hopefully the more you drink, which is wonderful. This is the second time this week I've seen this jug. And I'm like, oh, I'm so used to my bottle. And I actually did this when I used to work, is I had a giant, it was from Cumberland Farms. It was like a 48-ounce cup from Cumberland Farms. And I put Post-its on it and taped the Post-its on. And it said 9, like whenever I got in at 8. So it had a 9 o'clock line, it had a 10 o'clock line, it had an 11 o'clock line, and it had a 12 o'clock was, I was supposed to have finished the thing, but it gave me a nice goal to shoot for. And sometimes it would be 12 o'clock and I realized I didn't have any water, and I would just sit there drinking water until I felt kind of sick and being like, this is a bad idea. But
I don't know, just that, well, those water bottles you have are 24 ounces?
they're either 24 or 32.
Okay.
And they're from Rubbermaid. They're like $7 ones that I found at Target, and not even in the water bottle section. It's like in the section with all the lunch stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I ended up liking it more. I like the flow of the straw better. That's the thing, is I would love one that's not in plastic, but I don't like twisting and untwisting, especially when I'm driving in the car. Can't deal with it.
I guess whatever works for you. That's a good thing. All right.
Yeah.
So hang on.
Alondra said, logging all my calories in every day for the whole week. That's awesome.
And John said, wow, it's
That's
Wednesday
you.
already? And that usually means...
Chris started IF on the 2nd, just finished my first 20-hour fast, down 6 pounds. That's
Wow.
fantastic. Also, a 20-hour fast, that's wonderful. There are so many different ways of intermittent fasting. There are 20-hour fasts that you can do. There are every other day fasts. So many different ways to intermittent fast. So I like to specify as much as I can of just like, here's how we're fasting.
It's not you could do, it's not the end all be all way of fasting.
Right, exactly.
There's other one. Holly says, researching IF, intermittent fasting, to start next week because of the success she's seen in here.
I like that Dave Jackson commented, no better time than the present. The water is fine.
Yeah, jump right in.
You know those people who get 2 names? You can't just say Dave.
Right.
I can kind of say Dave, but it has to be Dave Jackson. Everybody else, when we talk about them in the group, they all go by first names.
Right.
Dave, I'm sorry. You're always going to be Dave Jackson to me, of the School of Podcasting. Just in my head.
All right. Well, look, you get to talk to, you can even say both names now.
I do. Okay. So Dave Jackson made a spreadsheet where he put in his current weight and how much he wants to lose per week. And it charts out his goals so far. He's on target. And he put a picture of it. Doo-doo!
Jillian said, made it to Pilates twice and the gym twice this week.
Elaine says, feeling sexy, and that's what matters. You know the feeling you get when you put on new clothes and feeling like strutting your stuff? And I even replied, I'm like, yes, I strive for that. Every single day, I try so hard. And I actually I've been going through a New Year's cleaning thing where I'm like releasing all that did not serve me in 2018 and going through my closet and being like, I haven't worn this at all this year, going through my drawers. So now everything is nice and organized. So when I open up my drawers, everything's like not quite department store fun of the pretty lights and everything, but just pulling out something to wear and being like, yes, this is what I'm wearing today. And I love it. Yeah.
Have you seen this new show? I can't think of the name of it. It's a woman. She's either she's Asian, and she's a organizer, and she doesn't really speak English that well.
Marie Kondo?
That's it.
Yes. Her book, The Art of Tidying, that's like the next level for me that I want to get to. But I've kind of been doing that, because I read it and it was a little too extreme for me at the time, even though I know you can start with it. But I started with, what was the book I read? It was something like Unclutter Your Life, Unclutter Your House, something like that. But I've gotten to the point where now when I'm going through things and cleaning things, the t-shirts I was picking up, and these are like the free t-shirts from college that I got because I went to some event that I never wear, that I keep saving. I have to look at it and be like, you've given me a lot of fun. I'm never going to wear you. I haven't worn you. Goodbye. Let's give you to Goodwill. Hopefully they can do something with that. Yesterday, I did that with actually my old video games, not my old video games. My husband will not let me throw out my old Nintendo or Super Nintendo games, even though we don't have a console, but he's like, they'll be worth money. I'm like, I don't think another copy of Dr. Mario is going to bring us the big bucks. But I got rid of my PlayStation and PlayStation 2 games. There weren't that many. They were very boring games. One was a friend's trivia game. Come on. And I gave them and got $8 back. And he was like, that was really hard, because I made him go do it. Because I was like, you need to do this. You need to understand how nice it is to get rid of things and now have that room in your life and in your, and he's like, I felt weird doing it. And I'm like, it's a friend's trivia game. I am never going to play this again. We don't have a PlayStation. We don't have a PlayStation. We don't have a PlayStation 2. We're not going to get them just so I can play these games that have terrible graphics now compared to the video games we have now. No. Just release.
Yeah, I agree with that. And congratulations, Lane. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Erica, seems weird, but I've avoided the scale for several days. I wanted to give myself a week or so of getting back to the gym before weighing in, for 2 reasons. Hoping to break the stall, looking forward to a big drop. 2, I don't want to see a bit temporary weight gain from starting to work out again.
Good.
There we go. Okay,
yeah.
So she's avoiding the scale. All right, I'm with you.
Yes.
Sorry, go back and read it because my reading's horrible.
Annette stuck to the plan, IF 16-8. So if you see something like IF in the group and then 16-8, it means she's fasting for 16 hours. Her eating window is open for 8 hours. 3 liters of water and 12,000 steps daily. And she's lost 3.5 pounds so far this week. She's hoping to make it 5 by Friday. So good luck, Annette.
Brendan, after a couple of weeks where the scale was no moving, down 1 pound this week. I think was not.
Yeah. Jessica lost 3 pounds and she is psyched. That's wonderful.
That is great.
I'm going to call out Jessica for a second because I saw her post something, and it may have been either January 1st or maybe it was New Year's Eve, but it was a really long post just owning up to what she goes through, what she does, just owning all of that and asking for forgiveness almost, for making excuses to people about things. It was a really incredible post to read, and it was something that took a lot of guts to post. And one of the things she was talking about was weight loss and deciding that this year wasn't going to be the year where she would give up and decide instead to just be happy how she is. She really wanted to make a push for this. And I'm in love with Jessica.
Yeah, she's like my sister from another mister. I mean, we have another podcast, which is Brilliant Observations. And I talk to her.
You're the producer for She Podcast, which she's on. She's another one who's like maybe first and last names. If I say Jessica, it's Jessica Kupferman. She's fantastic. I love her.
Yeah. And then she went through that whole post that she did. But then everybody was like, no, you're not that. You're not. And she's like, yes, I am. So
I know.
So
I know that was the thing. I'm like, I didn't see any of this. This is stuff. And we're all doing this. We are all struggling and we're trying to make it look online like we're not. We're all struggling. The struggle is real.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I got up this morning and I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do if I can't get downstairs? How am I going to actually be the first one to break the string of podcasts that we do? And I said, I don't care if I got to drag myself across the floor. I'm coming downstairs. I'm going to get in this chair and I'm going to podcast today.
I was almost the one to break the chain because I decided to sleep late.
I might have been the first time I was ever upset with you because if I'd have dragged myself all the way down here and we didn't podcast.
And you're like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm like, John, it's okay. Be pissed at me. It's fine.
No, I'm saying it's okay. It's fine because I'm not going anywhere. I'm just sitting here like kind of normally, stretching. But yeah, so congratulations to Jessica because I know how hard it is for her to stick to all that. So congratulations.
Yeah. And then I put in a post. Everyone is doing so awesome because I love checking in. Sometimes I leave Winning Wednesday to be surprised by when we record live. But yesterday I checked in because I already saw there was something like 13 comments on there. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Roxanne says, went back to the gym this week, tried 2 new classes, got out of my comfort zone, feeling so proud of myself.
That's fantastic.
Well, we're proud of you too. That's where they say that's where all the good stuff happens, outside the comfort zone.
Yes, that's where growth happens. One of the best things I was ever told was by my business coach, and he said, if you're feeling imposter syndrome, that's growth. He's like, you got to embrace it. And I'm like, oh, it's so hard. Oh,
it does stink.
Yeah. Deborah says so much water, and she's written in her journal every day, mostly positive thoughts. That's wonderful. Fantastic. Doo-doo.
Slow on the trigger. I grabbed the wrong mouse.
Those are our Winning Wednesday posts. I think that took probably about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I love it when we have big, long Winning Wednesday posts. But the problem with that is, you know what happens after that.
Oh, I do.
Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time for the moment you have all been waiting for. It's time for the weigh-in.
I spoiled my weigh-in for Emily today. She already knows, so she doesn't have to act surprised.
But it is an odd week. And for those who don't know, we decide who goes first, depending on the episode number. And the episode number is 37. And since it's an odd number and I have an odd number of letters in my name, that's how we decide who goes first to talk about their weigh-in. My weigh-in was down 1 pound. I'm very excited about that. I'm very happy that the number keeps going down. But on Monday, before Taco Bell, I was down 2.
You're still down a pound.
I'm still down a pound. I'm still happy about that. But now I really know it's like we have to keep doing the stupid things to remind us that it's stupid. It's like my dad used to say, why do you keep banging your head into a wall? Because it feels so good when I stop.
Oh.
And and he's like, stop banging your head into a wall. Stop going to Taco Bell and you'll just...
No, I agree with you. Okay, so this morning I could not stand on the scale long enough for the weight to lock in because I have a digital scale. And then, if I hold on to anything, that's not good. But last night I did get on the scale and I was down 1 pound last night. So I'm going to use that as my weigh-in for today.
Yay!
Yeah, I was sitting there
great.
and I'm trying to hold on, and I'm shaking. My knees are shaking, and everything hurts, and I can't really see. My eyes aren't focused, and I was like, "Oh, this is horrible." So, and I told Emily, I said, "Yeah, either due to the digital scale, I was either down 10 pounds or up 7 because I kept going swinging back and forth that much." So, all right. Well, look, we're still back on, and for me, what did I say? If I lose 2 pounds a week, which is very, very doable.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably if I could have stood on that scale today, I probably would have been down 2. I think I would have been down 2. So, we're doing it. We're on it. And guess what? We weren't perfect this week. You went to Taco Bell. I went to Taco Bell. But we did, for the most part, I did stay in my eating window. And we lost a little bit of weight. And, like I said, my steps have been up, which is good. Now they're not going to be up because I don't know how long this is going to take for me to straighten out or whatever. But we'll see what happens. And it's not always a straight line. It's not always a downward trend. Sometimes it looks like the stock market.
And Tracy posted a picture in the group of a little guy on the scale, and over the numbers put a taped sign of "You're doing great."
Yeah, it doesn't matter. As long as you're working on it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're working on it. We're getting healthier.
Absolutely. Again, we are up to 142 members. We had 9 members this week. 9 members sign up.
Welcome new members to the group, and welcome new listeners.
Yeah, so join us. If you're already part of the group, jump in. We don't bite. We're very, very friendly. And if you're not, just go to hatetheweight.com/Facebook and you can join us.
We're on Twitter. I'm not on there too much. We're at Hate to Wait if you want to follow us on Twitter. But again, we're really only posting new episodes and looking around because there is a lot of stuff about weight loss on Twitter. And if I spent time retweeting all of it and commenting on it, I would just be overwhelmed, and I'd be eating more Taco Bell. So I'm so happy in the Facebook group, though. That's my speed. I like the Facebook.
Yeah, I'm all about that too. And again, it's just people that are supporting each other as we go through this together. And that's what I love about it. All right, Emily, we'll be back next week with more fun and exciting stories. And hopefully I'll be able to sit up straight.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to go back to no fast food because it's just no
bueno.
No bueno.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.